you have to make sure you take steps to make sure that life does not keep you in a very, very miserable position. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Just Austere Being Real. If you're new here, I'm Austere and I just give solutions to problems to the best of my ability. And in case you're old here, you know the drill. Over to the question. Okay, without wasting so much time, we have a very, very interesting question here. So let's just get quickly into the question. All right, the question is, I'm going to read it. Okay, the question is, Austere, what is your last resort when life hits you bad? What is your last resort when life hits you bad? I'm sorry, I'm going to throw a question to you. What was your first plan, or what was your initial plan before you got to that point where life hit you hard? What was your first plan? You know, I am an advocate for proactiveness. I love being proactive, right? So I believe that before something would happen to you, probably if you're embarking on a journey, before something gets bad, that means you had the opportunity to make the harshness, to make the consequences minimal, right? So what steps did you take to ensure that the consequences at the minimum? What was your plan? What is your plan? What is your business plan? What was your strategic plan, right? So how did you plan on doing it? It is very important to plan ahead of something. That is proactiveness. You have to plan ahead of something to make sure that the process itself or the result is not as detrimental to you. Okay, so I know most persons talk about the fact that life is uncertain, which is true. Life is filled with uncertainty, so we cannot really get well prepared as to what life will bring to us, right? So you can never be so prepared. Life can just come anyhow. According to adage in Nigeria, life will shock you. Life can literally just shock you anytime, right? But at the same time, you can just try your best to make sure that you are prepared for those possible shocks. So you have to make sure that you're prepared for those risks, all those stones that life will throw at you, right? So all those shocks, make sure that you're prepared. And you being prepared is the act of planning. So you have to plan properly. I know that they say always have a plan B, always have a backup plan. But my own theory is that don't just have a backup plan, you need to have backup plans. That means I don't believe in plan B, plan C. My plan could be to plan Z. Like, I just make sure that I set up plans so in case one does not work, the other one might likely work. If one does not work, like I need to have a lot of plans. Like I have to pack my eggs and distribute them to different trucks and not baskets, right? Because I know that life is not certain and life can literally shock you, right? So you have to plan properly. But to the question you asked me, what is my last resort? My last resort is always God. Yes, I'm a Christian, so it's always God. God is always my last resort. So if I was exhausted all my plans, all my options, I run to God. The beautiful thing is that God is always the first person that I run to. When I want to make a plan, I run to God. So he's my first resort and he's also my last resort. I know most of you are Muslims, most of you have other religions and stuff, and most of you don't even believe in some spiritual things and stuff. But I just believe that whatever you believe will literally work for you, right? So you should have a major source. You should have a major source. You should just have that whether it's a God or whether it's something, just make sure you have that thing that if it becomes very, very hard, I can always run back to this. And do not forget to always make plans. Don't just opt for a plan B, go for a plan C, a plan D, not to a plan E or a plan F. Always have plans, right? Because life is not certain. So you yourself, you have to be prepared for the uncertainty of life. So I hope I've been able to answer that question. Then I do have another question here, which is, what are your struggles? What are your struggles? I feel like this question is a bit, it's a bit broad, so it needs to be narrowed down a bit. So when you talk about struggle, we have emotional struggle, we have physical struggle, spiritual struggle, academic struggle. So I need to know the struggle because I can't really broadcast my whole struggles, right? So I need to know the area, the struggle. But one thing is certain, that we all have struggles. So far as you're a human being, you're living on earth, of course you have struggle. There's no man that even the rich cry too. Yeah. The rich cry, the poor cry, the billionaires, the millionaires and stuff. Everyone have something that they're struggling with and they're trying to achieve, because if there's no struggle, there will not be a victory, and for that to be victory, we cannot ascend to different levels. So of course we have struggle. So I don't really know the kind of struggle that you're talking about, but let me just assume you're talking about maybe the struggle of having a YouTube channel. Okay, I guess so. Okay, so if it's a struggle for having a YouTube channel, I'm going to do a separate video on that. Yeah, but I do struggle. I struggle with my YouTube videos as a result of most times discouragement. Discouragement as a result of the views, as a result of engagement, as a result of most times environment, and stuff, putting so much effort to getting something, and when you finally get it, it's not really appreciated, or spending so much time editing, watching videos on how to edit, but you just can't get it right. And I always feel like my videos are horrible most times, but I just thank God that I am always pushing. I thank God for His grace that I'm always pushing, despite the even having to sit down and film a video. Most times it can be challenging because I live in an environment that's a bit opened. So yeah, and the means of transportation here is the motorcycle. So yeah, my house echoes a bit, and when a motorcycle passes, it's the noise comes into the video. The birds are always chirping and stuff like that. I tried downloading apps to help, clear noise and stuff, but yeah, those apps are kind of paid apps, yeah, for the meantime. And yeah, I have a lot of struggles. Maybe I'll talk about that in the next video, if I happen to make a video about the struggles I have as a YouTuber. All right, thank you so much for staying here with me today. Thank you so much for listening to my little contribution to your questions, and thank you so much for trusting me with your questions. Please do not forget to like this video, do not forget to subscribe, and do not forget to comment. Please, I want you to ask your questions. Feel free to ask your questions, and I'll always be there to answer your questions. But for the meantime, have a nice day. Bye.